You've seen them all over your feed, right? These amazing little videos, monkeys, puppies, incredible fantasy worlds, all made with AI. And they're getting millions, sometimes tens of millions of views. It really feels like we're in a new digital gold rush. So let's get right into it, because the biggest question everyone has isn't just how do you make these, it's can you actually get paid for this?
And when I say millions of views, I am not kidding. Look at this number. That is from one single AI-generated short. It's wild. We're seeing entire channels just explode out of nowhere, getting hundreds of thousands of followers from just a few of these videos. The potential to go viral it's just massive.
But here it is, the billion-dollar question. We all see the giant view counts, but what about the money? There's this huge myth going around that YouTube will just automatically reject any video made with AI for monetization. So what's the real story? Is that true? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at this AI gold rush and the channels that are already striking it rich. Then we'll uncover YouTube's big secret about monetization, what the actual rules are. After that, I'm going to walk you through, step by step, how to make these videos the right way. We'll cover crafting your story, generating the visuals, and then the most important part, the human edit. And we'll wrap it all up with the one big idea you have to remember: AI is a tool, not the creator.
All right, so first up, this whole AI gold rush thing. And look, this isn't just some theory. You've got channels like Rio Films that are just crushing it. I mean, they're cranking out these viral shorts that each pull in millions upon millions of views. And get this, it's not just about the ads. They've gotten so big that major brands are paying them thousands of dollars for one sponsored video. It's a whole new world for creators.
Now for what is maybe the most important part of this whole thing. It's time to bust this myth once and for all that you can't get paid for AI videos. The truth is, well, it's a little more complicated, but YouTube is actually pretty clear about what it will and won't pay for. The secret isn't if you use AI, it's all about how you use it.
And this slide really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got the stuff that gets rejected. Think low-effort, completely automated videos. You know, the kind where you just type something in, and AI spits out a video, and you upload it with no changes. YouTube basically calls that spam. But then you look over here, and this is the winning formula. You use AI for the visuals, but you bring your script, your ideas, and your unique editing to the table. That's the secret sauce, the human touch.
And this right here, this just proves the point. This is like a pro tip straight from YouTube itself. They're basically saying, hey, if we ever question if you can get paid for this, you need to prove you actually did the work. Show us your editing timeline, your script drafts, even screen recordings of you working on it. They want to see the effort, the artistry, the human behind the machine. Okay, so how do you actually do this? Let's get into the step-by-step. And step one is super important. Every great viral video doesn't start with some fancy, complicated AI prompt. Nope, it starts with a simple human idea, a story. This is where your creativity comes in way before any AI gets involved.
Let's take that Rio Films channel again. One of their biggest hits started with this super simple idea. A monkey tries to stop a bus. People on the bus think he's just being a pest, but he's actually trying to save them from an accident up ahead. It's a classic misunderstood hero story. That's it. That's the human spark that kicks the whole thing off. All right, so you've got your story, your monkey saving the bus idea. Now it's time to fire up the tech. This brings us to step two, actually making the visuals with your AI tools. Basically, you're turning your written story into pictures and video clips, and there's a certain workflow to do it right. Okay, real quick before we dive deeper, let's talk about the word prompt. All it is an instruction. Think of it like you're a director giving very specific notes to an actor, except your actor is the AI. The better and more detailed your instructions are, the better the final scene is going to look. Simple as that. So a lot of the top creators are using a workflow that looks something like this. First, they take that simple idea and jump into a tool like ChatGPT to really flesh it out. They use it to write super detailed prompts for every single scene they need. Next, they take those prompts over to an image generator like Nano Banana Pro to create still images that look amazing. And finally, they feed those images into a video tool, something like Kling 3.0, to actually make a move.
So why that last tool, Kling 3.0? Why is that one so popular right now? Well, this chart kinda says it all. See, most of the other AIs out there can only make clips that are like 8 seconds long. Kling can go all the way up to 15 seconds. And that might not sound like a big deal, but when you're telling a story, it's a total game changer. It just means you can create longer, smoother scenes without a bunch of awkward cuts. And that brings us to the final and honestly, probably the most important step of all.
Okay, so you've got your little AI-generated video clips, but right now, they're just a bunch of scenes. This is where you, the human, come in and turn them into a real story with real emotion. This is the step that actually gets you paid.
And look, we're not just talking about dragging and dropping clips into a timeline. This is real artistry. You're picking the perfect music to make people feel something. You're deciding exactly when to cut to build up suspense. You're adding little sound effects to make the whole thing feel alive. Maybe you're even tweaking the colors to get the vibe just right. All of this, that's the significant, monetizable human input that YouTube is looking for.
So as we bring this all together, it really comes down to one core philosophy, one big takeaway from this entire process. It's a simple shift in how you think about it, but it's what separates the people who succeed from the ones who get their channels demonetized.
And here it is. The single most important thing to remember is this. The AI is just the paintbrush. You are the artist. Yeah, it's an incredible tool, right? It lets you create these stunning visuals that would have been impossible for one person to make just a year ago. But the paintbrush doesn't have the vision. It doesn't know the story. It can't create the emotion. That all comes from you. That's what YouTube rewards, and that's what audiences truly connect with. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We know this AI tech is just going to get crazier, better, faster, more realistic. The tools will keep getting more powerful. But as we've seen today, the thing that actually matters, the story, the creativity, the vision, that still has to come from a human. For now, at least, the artist is irreplaceable. Thanks for tuning in.